up to our halfway point in our series. This is block number 6, and it's called an hourglass block. The easiest way to do this is with just 2 coordinating colors, and you can do it the traditional method, which it tells you to cut out a 13¼ inch block, and then the instructions here show you to it has lines along the diagonals, so you cut it into diagonals. What that's actually going to give you is more pieces than you actually need. So if you want to make multiple blocks, that's fine, but if you want to just make the one block, test it out, I'm going to show you the modern method for this that I use, that it is a lifesaver, and it will make working with the triangles much easier. The thing with this is our first triangle block, and triangles inherently are cut on the bias. And so remember I said one way's got a little bit of stretch, one way doesn't have much, so this is with the grain, against the grain, and then there's the bias that's just super stretchy. And so anytime you're working with triangles, it's really easy to accidentally stretch your seams and get it all wonky and warped up. But with this one, it will save you some of the heartache. So what I'm going to actually show you how to do is the modern method, and you need to cut 2 9½ inch square blocks, and then there are only going to be 3 seams in this entire thing. So let me show you how you do the first seams. With this method, it sounds really crazy, but what you're going to do is you're going to pick a side, doesn't really matter, it's a square, and you're going to sew all the way down that side. And then I like to make sure that I've got it readjusted, everything's still in line. And then I'm going to go to the absolute opposite side. So this is the seam I did before. I'm going to seam this side now. And this sounds crazy, but I promise it will work. So now I'm going to set my seams with my iron, but I'm going to leave it like this, and then I'll show you how to cut it to make it work just like magic. So now I have my 2 seams along here, and I've flattened it out with the iron, and now I'm going to take my rotary cutter and my ruler, and I'm going to go from point to point. And you will cut through a little bit of your seam that you already put in, but don't worry about that. You're going to just cut through both fabrics just like they are. And when you open it up, you already have half of your block done. And sometimes you kind of have to pop that. So now I'm going to press it, and I'm going to go to the red side. I'll show you how to finish it up. So now that I have it pressed, all I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my seams just like I've been doing for all my other ones. This is basically just your 4-patch again, only you're doing it on an angle. And so you just make sure that those center seams lock into place like they should, and then we sew down this long seam. Slow down because since this is such a simple pattern, I want that center seam to super match up. And usually these will take some squaring up, but it shouldn't be very much. But a lot of times, anytime you're working with a triangle, I would go ahead and check it for square when you're done, because usually things get a little bit wonky. And there's my finished hourglass. So it's extra super easy that way. If you're going to piece it piece by piece, what you'd have to do is just do this seam and then this seam and then fold it in and do the last seam like that. Now, by doing that, you can introduce a little bit more wave and stuff to it. So I really suggest going with the modern method, and it saves you on scraps and stuff later. And so now I'll just make sure that I'm actually on square. And with this, I probably do have just a little bit to cut off. And yep, I'll just have just a little bit. And so I like that, so that that gives me a little bit of a margin of error. And so I will line that up as best I can. And then square it all up. And I scooted it, so I have to redo that. Or did I cut it crazy that way? No, I'm good. I didn't get that side at all. And there's the finished block. Nice and perfect. So I hope you enjoyed that one. This one's a really fast one, and so I've actually made 1 million of these now. And we will get a little bit more complicated as we move forward. All right, see you in the next one.